Hello, what's going on? I'm still setting up. I got my radioactive. It's too bright, huh? Way too bright. Let's see. Is that better? Get my mic going. It looks like the mic is all right, but I think I can get it closer to me, and that would probably be a little bit better. What else? It seems like this light is a little too bright. There we go. Is that better? Now is it too dim? Probably made it too dim. Got all my little finishing touches. So let's just get right into it. Thank you for your patience. I've been having a really rough time, mostly with my braces. So I think I discovered why you can't eat things like nuts and pizza. I thought I could do those things if I was careful and chewed, took small bites and chewed really slowly. But I think it just kind of like morphed my braces into like a torture device. So yesterday I went to the orthodontist and they gave me a tune-up. And although it was much better right away, it took like a day for the inside of my mouth to heal up. So I just have been reading. Granny Annie, what's happening, girlfriend? Just passing through. Have a great week. So let me show you what I've been up to while trying to let my mouth heal. I bought the book yesterday. I went straight from the orthodontist right to Barnes and Noble. It was like over $30, and I was like, dang, that's a lot. But it's really good. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. So I'm going to talk about the book. Let me make sure that my mic is all right. Do I need it closer, do you think? Is it better if I'm like this, or does it make a big difference? I wonder if I put it, I wonder if I could put it right there. I don't know if I can. I can try it. You look good. Oh, you're so nice. Well, so I'm standing up. I totally redid my whole thing here so that I would be standing up rather than sitting down because, I'm just always mixing it up. But let me see if I can get this higher. I don't know if I can. It'll take me a second. I've got all these little things that I can use, but it's like building a Lego house almost. Let's see. Do you think I need it closer to me? The mic? I kind of think I do. But what little parts of my Lego house can I use to build it? I was burning a candle in there that I'm no longer burning, so I think that'll be all right. I think I can just do this, but like I said, I'll be knocking everything over. So I have a stool. Sorry if this is boring as I continue to set up. I just really didn't want to keep moving the time back because I was planning on going live yesterday and I just couldn't do it. My mouth hurt so much. And then, is that better? Only when you move around, your voice fades. Okay, I'll quit moving around. So how are you, my dear? What's going on in your life? I've got my super healthy veggie juice with cranberry. Always trying to be healthy. It was nice to just sit and read. I don't do that enough. I really enjoy reading. Actually, I lied. I only enjoy reading if things are written really well. And it seems like nothing is written well. I'm just super snobby like that. I like Capote. I like Hemingway. I like Salinger. I'm very particular. So I was concerned about reading the Virginia Giuffre book because I had read a little bit of her memoirs that are basically just journals. So they're not like edited or anything, I don't think. And they're just not written the way a good novel should be written. But like I said, they're not published. They're memoirs. I mentioned them in my last video. They're published online, and I put a link in the description of my video from the day before yesterday, and you can find the whole like 140 pages in the cloud. But I wouldn't recommend it just unless you're just curious, just because, like I said, it's not written well. But I haven't read the whole thing either. This, however, is written masterfully. It's so good. She had a ghostwriter, and they worked on this puppy for 4 years. And I did email them and ask if I could read excerpts of it on my channel, but I haven't heard back yet. So I won't read excerpts, but I can maybe read just like the outline on the jacket and just give you my impressions of the first 50 pages, because I've already read the first 50 pages. It's so good, but it's horrifying. Let's see what you're saying. Drove to Cabo and back for a quick trip. That sounds like a long trip. Driving back and forth over the border in this day and age, is that safe, Annie? Audiobooks for my hurt hands and ADHD issues. Well, see, I've got the ADHD issues and I've got dyslexia, and I just can't focus if something's not written really well. So this is easy to focus on. It's so good. And it's got photographs in it, which is one of the reasons why I want to recommend that people purchase it. I can show you the photographs. I think, fair use, as long as I'm not like reading you the whole book. I think that's fine. And I've been using them in some of the thumbnails. 820 miles from San Felipe, 1 day down, 2 days back. Wow. That's a long drive, girl. I don't really like to drive that far. I like a 1 hour drive, maybe 2 hour drive. This is a real famous photo that we've all seen a million times. This one, however, of dear Virginia when she was about 16 is brand new to my eyes with the publishing of this book. It came out online a couple of days before the book came out. I guess, there were people who had like early release volumes. And then this one right here, is it focusing on that? That's a really cute picture of her with the little lifesaver that says New York. This one, most of us have seen many times. I mean, she looks so young. She's at this party where she's going to get abused, and she looks like she's 13 or 14. She's probably 16 in the photo. And then, of course, this famous one that destroyed poor Prince Andrew's life. And she was 17 in that photo. Poor guy. Let's see, a couple more pages of photographs. This is gorgeous. This photo, I have seen it before. This is her wedding in Thailand. And it's so cool and spooky. I should probably use that as a thumbnail, because this is the crispest picture I've seen of it. I've seen very granulated pictures of it, and it's really spooky looking too. It's really cool for Halloween. And then a picture of her with her first baby, where she would have been probably 20 or something like that, maybe 22. But again, she looks so young to me in that photo. She could pass for 16 easily. And the cute little baby with the chubby cheeks. And then a really lovely family photo that you can't really see too well at all. And then a picture of her and Sarah Ransom. I think this is 2019 when Jeffrey was in jail. So right before he was... wait, no, this is actually taken August 27th, 2019. So it's just 17 days after he passed away. It says, after his death, the judge, Richland Berman, invited Epstein's victims to a hearing in Manhattan federal court on August 27th, 2019. Sarah Ransom, that's Sarah Ransom, and I were among 23 survivor sisters, as we call ourselves. I think the woman in the white dress is her attorney, who attended and spoke. Also pictured my lawyers, Brad Edwards, Sigrid McCauley, and David Boyce. So yeah, that's the white dress is the female attorney. And then this is a pretty common picture of her too, holding a picture of herself when she was young. So the big reveal in the book that I'm sure you've probably heard about already is that she names her biological father as the first person who abused her when she was 7. It's when the abuse started. And prior to the publication of this book, she was always kind of vague and said close family friend. And then a couple of days ago in my last video, I said that now there's like in the rumor mill that it was actually her father, and her brother confirms that it was her dad. Although, of course, her father denies it, and it's pretty mind-blowing. So he started abusing her when she was 7, and then I'm not sure how long afterwards, maybe when she was 9, he started allowing his friend that they called an uncle. So he was like sharing his daughter with his friend. So freaking sick. And then she ran away from home. She was brutally assaulted many times by many people, some douchebag guys her own age. And then Ron Eppinger. Ron Eppinger just died last month, you guys. I'm going to look him up again because that is insane. That is sus. Ron Eppinger. Virginia Giuffre. Let's see. Miami Beach modeling agent. Miami Beach modeling agent, perfect 10. I'm just looking for when he passed away, which I'm pretty sure was this month. So I want to let everybody know that everything you read on the internet from now especially is even more subject to being questionable information. Things are getting edited wildly. So of course it doesn't say. I'm going to just have to ask it directly. Do a comma. It's freaking out. It doesn't want me to look him up. When did he die? I'm pretty sure it was last month, which if it is, that's just nuts. No. He died November 8th, 2006 at age 70. Okay. Somebody, I'll have to watch my video from the day before yesterday. Somebody had just died last month that made me smack my head. Okay, so he was 70 and he passed away November 10th of 2006. So that would have been right around the same time that Jeffrey or little E was getting in a lot of trouble in the courts in Florida. And they say that there's no connection between him and little E and little T, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. They all had their little modeling agencies. So Ron Eppinger picked her up after she'd been assaulted, like hours after she'd been assaulted, and actually had a gun put in her mouth during the assault. So one of the things I want to give warning about this book and Virginia and her ghostwriter, Anne. What's Anne's last name? They want to give everyone plenty of notice that it is very distressing stuff. Very, very distressing stuff. So, what is Anne's last name? How come I can't remember at the moment? Let's see. And how come it's not here on the book? She, like I said, she's been all over the YouTube circuit, and very weird that her name is not right here. No. Anyway, it's Anne. Frustrating. You can come on in. It's bugging me though. I'm going to have to look, and I'll read your comments. Annie, one sec. Virginia's ghostwriter. And then I'll put in her last name because it always spells it wrong. It is a hard name to spell. Guiffre, I think is how you spell it. So her ghostwriter is Amy Wallace. See, I keep thinking her name is Anne. Amy Wallace is brilliant. She's really, really good. And she did a fantastic job with it. She's doing a fantastic job publicizing for it. So let me read your comments here. I looked very young. San Felipe is in Baja, Mexico. Family picture of my kids, dad in my post. People give him dirty looks. Cable guy wouldn't fix cable until my parents came home. Oh, that's adorable. That's too funny. Let me highlight that. So sickening. Too many girls have confided daddy messing at ages 5 and up. I am teaching you how to be a good wife. Several have said, is that the most disgusting thing in the world? I had my ex put in his trust that my kids got nothing until age 40. So dad wouldn't reap benefits. He is handy, 2 daughters, mammied lands. They stopped seeing him. He is handsy, 2 daughters, married lands. Annie, I am so sorry. That is horribly hideous and disgusting. And, yeah, it's a global problem. It's a cultural problem. It's probably worse in other countries than in our country, but we need to address it for sure. Men thinking that they have the right to lay hands on women and girls. Abusive, whether it's physical abuse, domestic violence type, SA, assault, all of it is just hideous. It's absolutely beyond reproach. I am glad the girls dumped the lech. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was kind of trying to outline. Let me move my chair so that you can see the cute puppy dogs that came in. So I have this stool in case I get exhausted from standing too much. But so far it's good. I like being on my feet, kind of. I can try this stool. It's all just a science experiment, and that actually being on the stool might make the mic a better height, or I could kick it over. You just never know. There we go, kicking it over. Let's try this out. Watch me just like topple over. No, I don't really like that because now I'm too low. I'd have to like raise it up, but I'm not going to fiddle with it. I'll just put it over here out of the way and talk about the memoir. Surviving Abuse and Fighting for Justice is the rest of the title. What I really wanted to say about just kind of recapping what I've read in the first 50 pages is after Ron Eppinger took her in for about 6 months, and then she went out to California to an aunt's house. It was her dad's sister, and she ran away from home there. And then her dad came and got her and took her back to Florida. And then eventually her dad was working at Mar-a-Lago and got her the job there. We all know that that led to her getting snatched up by Jiz, and immediately the abuse started, I think within an hour. So there's a few things I want to say about that. One of them is that when Jiz drove to Mar-a-Lago to get her, she was in a limo and basically just talked her into getting in the car, which it wasn't very hard for her to talk her into it. And then they drove right to Jeffrey's mansion. And the story is that he was already nude and laying on a massage table when they got there. And then Jiz started guiding and instructing Virginia on how to massage him, and immediately started participating in a sexual abuse incident. So the three of them, it was like a threesome. But the way she tells the story, the way it's told, that he was already on the table nude when they got to the house. And you got to think, this is the year 2000, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's the summer of 2000. I guess we had cell phones by then, right? Like that was kind of a new thing, and they were wealthy. So I guess she could have been calling him and telling him, like, I got her. But my thought is that she went there with the intention of snatching her up and taking this person with her. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end for Virginia. It was a couple of months before she turned 17. It was in the summer. I don't think she went back to high school after that. I think she was a sex slave full time. And it had just kind of occurred to me a couple of days ago that she probably never got a chance to finish high school, but it's confirmed in her book that she definitely did not get the opportunity to finish high school. And she's a smart chick, though. She's a very smart chick. I am glad the girls dumped the lech. Sounds like daddy got a job through having a daughter broke in. You know, Granny Annie, that's a theory that is similar to my theory that I was going to divulge. The story is that her dad was like a maintenance man, and that he might have been like the supervisor of maintenance or something like that. And then he got her this job. It's always been kind of sketchy, and it's always been sort of like he didn't work there that long. He just got his daughter this job. And then this whole thing with Jiz happened like within the first week. I don't think it was the first day, but I don't think it was more than like 7 days into her employment. Actually, no, I take that back. She worked there for like 18 months. I think I saw that at one point in time, because there was like some payroll information that she'd been paid a couple $1,000, and it was stretched out over a period of time. Anyway, maybe it'll get clearer by the time I finish the book, which hopefully will be in the next day or two, because I am motivated to just like power through it. This is my thought, Annie, is that her father, his name was Sky also, that he knew his boss a little bit longer and a little bit better than he made out, and that he served her up to him Your idea is that it helped him get his job, which, like I said, is in line with my thought of that he got paid a big bonus for bringing her on board. And then when Donnie describes that his spa people were getting stolen, getting snatched by his friend, ex-friend, it sounds to me like that was a pipeline, that it was a setup, that was a hunting ground, right? That the resort was a hunting ground for Jiz and Little E. Doesn't that sound about right? Even the way Donnie tells the story. Dude tells on himself all the time. Where's my notes? I know I had some. I set them down on the floor, of course. Where else would I put them? I try so hard to be organized. It's impossible, isn't it? It's freaking impossible. So these last couple of days, this book, the abuse is so much worse than imaginable. Like I keep reiterating, I'm only 50 pages in, and it's so brutal. It's so much more barbaric than I had any idea. Kind of maybe verging on like snuff kind of crap. I mean, it's so creepy that it's freaking my dog out. Coco, here you go. Don't be spooked, baby. It's hideous. Absolutely hideous. The fact that this book came out yesterday, which was Tuesday. So Saturday was the No King's Day with all the protests. Sunday was Sunday the day that the stable genius made a video of himself flying an airplane and shitting all over Americans. Can you say regressed, angry toddler monkey boy throwing his poop? Smearing his feces all over the house? Like, that is like classic Freudian anal fixation. Completely insane. How is this not the top story of the world? Not just our country. And then I think it was also Sunday that he basically took a wrecking ball to the White House. The White House that he said was his favorite, and he wasn't going to touch it. That even the ballroom wasn't going to touch it. It was just going to be adjacent to it. And then he got in there with excavators and bulldozers. And he's angry. He's pissed. He loves to destroy things, but he also likes to destroy things to cause a disturbance and a distraction. So I think he was panicking, not just about the No King's Day event, but about the impending doom of this book, because I don't think he's mentioned in it anywhere. I have it right here, so that's what I'm putting my hand on. I don't think his name is in it. I'll tell you when I'm done. But we know that he was best friends with Little E. We know that he is now considering pardoning Jiz, which is completely insane, except that she's the one who leaked the birthday book and the birthday letter. And that, I'm sure, was just a small sampling. Anna Bees, what's up? How are you, honey? I'm so happy to see you. So yeah, here we are, 9:30 at night. I would love to start doing my videos at night as long as I can think and talk and everything, so that it's easier for people to be in the chat. But yeah, right now I just have to do them basically anytime I get a chance because things are just so busy. And then these damn braces, basically I spend all day putting the wax in my mouth to cover the braces so they're not cutting up my lips. And then it takes a long time to get the wax in there. And then I have to take it out so that I can eat, or even just to drink coffee, and then brush my teeth and then put it back in. But like, I had wax in my mouth all day yesterday, and then I don't think I've had any in today. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't make a video yesterday, was my mouth was just too chewed up. Doing good. How are you? So yeah, I spent the bulk of the day reading 50 pages of Virginia's new book, Nobody's Girl, and it is so effing good and so effing tragic. But it is written to give people hope, to raise awareness. First thing I did when I got it was page through. You know, I always like to go through like the jacket, the table of contents, the photographs, just kind of get an outline of what's here. And right away, the first thing I saw in the back, you know, because I always start in the back, is where to turn for help. So it says, my nonprofit organization, Speak Out, Act, Reclaim, SOAR, seeks to bring light to the issue of sex trafficking and empower survivors. Our goals include strategic grant-making partnerships and public education. SOAR's work is informed by my own journey from victim to survivor to advocate. If you or someone you love is being endangered by sex trafficking or domestic violence, or is considering self-harm, help is available. The resources below are confidential, free, and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's got the National Human Transporting Hotline, 1-888-373-7888. Text Be Free, which is 233-733. The National DV Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. SAFE is 7233. Isn't that record speeds? No, that's 7833. 70. Remember record speeds when you had like 45s, 78s, and 33s? That shows how old we are, right? Text start to 88788. That's the National DV hotline. Texting start. The National Transporting Hotline was texting Be Free. And then the self-injury crisis lifeline is 988. So instead of 911, 988. Or you can text 988. Isn't that cool? So yeah, I'll make sure I get all that information typed into my description too. And so yeah, the book starts out with her telling the story of like present day, and then flashing back to her abuse. But she gets triggered going into the Louvre, the museum in France, in Paris. And there's like this one room that the walls are like a really dark red, and there's tapestry. It's like King Henry's room or something. But she says that the first time she'd gone in that room was with her abusers, little E and Jiz. And that little E really liked that room a lot. Let me see if let me see what AI knows. The room at the Louvre Art Museum in Paris, France, that triggers Virginia Giuffre in her book from the abuse she survived. It says you're talking too much. That's too many words. The Louvre Art Museum in Paris, France, has a room that triggered Virginia Giuffre in her book of her abuse from Jeffrey Epstein. Whose room is it? Whose room is it? Um, it doesn't want to tell me, I don't think. It's like, you're confusing me. It's in there. I'll make a note of it. I wasn't taking notes when I was reading. I knew I should have. I stopped my audio subscription because I never used it, but I had 41 credits. So I went on today to see if Virginia's book was there, but it won't let me on unless I pay for the subscription again. What room is in the Louvre? I want to say it's like King Henry or something like that. I want to go there someday. And that's a bummer. Yeah, so it was like the walls were really deep red and there was this tapestry. I can look and see if I can find it because it's right in the beginning. It's a tapestry that totally triggers her and she kind of freaks out. She's there in France to give depositions for Jean-Luc Brunel's case, which I didn't realize she did all that. This book is amazing. But let me go straight to that part about introduction. Yeah, it's right here in the introduction. The room I am in is painted blood red, and it is dominated by a huge tapestry, a depiction of Louis XIV, which is what? I'm not sure. XIV. You guys know your Roman numerals, right? Roman numerals XIV means the number 14. Okay, so it would be Louis XIV's garish red bedchamber. Garish bedchamber. In 2001, Little E and Jiz took the teenage me into this room for the first time. They had been abusing and transporting me for months. Now I'm 37 years old. So this was written a few years ago because she was 41 when she passed away this year. Now I'm 37-year-old wife and mother, full-fledged adult. It's been 2 years since it's been 2 years since little E passed away. Still, I can practically see him standing next to me, admiring the tapestry whose dark palette he was determined to mimic in the decor of his opulent Manhattan townhouse. In my mind's eye, I imagine Jiz beside him, as always, a molester with posh manners and an aristocratic pedigree. G Max is what Jiz called herself. Is that weird? G Max, like she's like Mad Max or something. As she called herself, played den mother to little E's dysfunctional family of underage girls. I was one of those girls. Did you need help?
No, I was showing you.
Oh, it's awesome, babe. Very cute. Let's see. That was my girl. She's sewing. She's working on her Halloween costume. Is that too cool? She's doing it herself at only 13. She's got her grandmother's spirit in her, or my grandmother's spirit. But I sewed a lot too at that age. My grandmother wanted to be a costume designer on Broadway. That's what she was studying for when she got knocked up and dropped out of college. Anyway, where was I? The dysfunctional family of underage girls. I was one of those girls. I spent more than 25 months in their house of shame. Even decades later, I can still remember how much I feared them both. So yeah, I think it's probably fine to read an excerpt. I was looking up the rules about copyright and, shared information, fair use, basically. And I think it's fine. Like, I can't read the whole book without explicit permission, of course, because they want books on tape to sell. And I certainly don't want to decrease their sales. I'm actually wanting to increase their sales. So I'm hoping that by talking about it, I'll get more people interested, because it is a tidal wave. It's a tsunami of positive change. Just looking at this hideous stuff that none of us want to look at it. None of us want to write about it or read about it, but it's right there. I mean, it's why our government is shut down for the last month and might not ever open again, I believe, is because of what's in this book. And like I said, it's even worse. Just the first quarter of the book is way worse than anything I could have imagined, even though I've been doing a deep dive into the whole thing for months, for months, probably 6 months. And I'm going to continue. So that's the room. The 14th. What was it? Henry the 14th, I think. Now I have to look again. I've got the attention span of a gnat. Louis the 14th. Okay. Louis. Yeah, the 14th. You're good with your Roman numerals. I always have to like go really slow. Like, I know the X is the 10, the I is the 1, the V is the 5. But then if the numbers are in front of, like, that I is in front of the V, that means you subtract the 1 from the 5. If it's after, then you add it. But when it's like X and then the I and then the V, I'm like, how does that all apply? So yeah, that makes sense. It's so gross. G-Max better not get out of prison. Well, Annabise, I think that she will, and I think it'll go really badly. So I think it'll go badly for her, and even worse for our dear leader. It's not that I empathize with him at all. I don't empathize with either one of them for a split second. They're sick freaks, and they should burn. And I'm sure they will. In the afterlife, they will just be in a very hot place, down very low, which is kind of where they live, is in a very low place, in their minds, in their disgusting psyches. But she's got so much dirt on him. And I think that birthday letter was, what do they call it? A shot from the bow or something like that? A shot over the bow. I think it's like a pirate term or a war term. It's a warning shot. It's like just showing what could happen. And a shot over the bow, I think, is the phrase, the cliche. That's just the birthday letter and the birthday book. I'm sure there's plenty more where that came from. I want to know, I mean, that birthday book triggered him the way Louis the 14th's room triggered Virginia. The reason I think that birthday letter triggered our El Presidente is because of what happened that night. Jean-Luc Brunel gifted little E 12-year-old triplets that day when he turned 50, the big party. And the stable genius was there and best friends with him. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put it all together. But what is not put together is the story of Jean-Luc Brunel bringing Jeffrey, the 12-year-old triplets, they were from France, incidentally, on his 50th birthday. Like, it's not really out in the interweb so much, and I'm sure it's going to be in the interweb even less. But that's what happened. The triplets were a gift to little E for his 50th birthday. And then his best friend made him that disgusting card. And then his crazy Jizz Max made a disgusting book of demeaning women and girls. Absolutely demeaning. I mean, parts that jump out to me, because I read through most of the 240 pages. I think it's like 238 pages on the cloud, and I was literally sick for days. The worst one was the guy who writes about, and trigger warning, he writes about porking these girls and the maids walking in. And I mean, I'm giving you the G-rated version right here. It is atrocious beyond words. And they're laughing about it. And they're writing it in this freaking birthday book. And it's bound like an actual book. I mean, it's bound like this, like a encyclopedia. I mean, they paid a lot of money and put a lot of time into that. Jizz Max. Sicko. I've heard people read books on YouTube. I'm not saying who or what book. Yeah. And I'm glad that I know not to do that because I think it can cause a lot of trouble for people. And at this point in time, there's a lot of trouble being caused for all of us on the YouTube and on the internet. And I mean, the Russians have all of our information from Doge. Remember when Doge was like cleaning out all of our everything from the government? Big balls and Big E and their handful of cyber hackers. I'm sure that information is all in the hands of Daddy Vladdy. But let's talk about the war thing for a minute, because I believe that our stable genius, not El Presidente, is trying to wage war, especially now, especially with this information blowing up. And like I said, even though he's not named, I don't think he's named at all in the book, not once. This is all about his homies, his home fries, Little E and Jizz, and he was with them. And they snatched her from his property. So it's not just guilt by association. He's admitted knowledge of the snatching. He admitted knowledge of her name and admitted knowledge of her being deceased when a reporter asked him about it like a day after on the tarmac when he was boarding or deplaning. And the reporter just asked, like, what do you think of Virginia Giuffre? And he immediately copped to A, knowing who that was, and B, knowing that she was not alive anymore, and knowing that she had this history of abuse, because he immediately starts talking about like, oh, it's just horrible for her and all the people like her. You know, he's trying to make himself sound like a good guy, but every time he opens his mouth, he lets some truth out, even when he's telling nothing but lies. If there was ever a time to say who, what, I haven't heard this name in so long, I don't even know who you're talking about. If there was ever a time to pull that card, that would have been the time. Knowing her name was crazy. She worked for him for a brief period 25 years ago. You know, it shows that he was paying attention to that, paying attention to somebody injuring themselves fatally in Australia when he's the president and needing to tend to 1,000 other things. But yet he knows of this person that was employed by his company briefly 25 years ago and now lives on the other side of the planet, and he knows her name and what happened to her. They are bottom feeders. Yeah. So let me look at my notes and see if I have other ideas that I want to share with you, because I'm kind of blanking on my brain. There's a lot. There is a lot. Is the stable genius going to get impeached? Is he going to get impeached for treason? Aiding and comforting our nation's enemies, like, that would be Daddy Vladdy's country. That would be a lot of the countries that he's been cozying up to. And then he's been freezing out the countries that are our allies, even Canada. OMG. Polite Canada. Mild-mannered Canada. And then this whole thing, we haven't even talked today about Erica Kirk and his completely overreacting to anybody talking about what happened to Charlie should get fired from whatever job they have. And anybody saying anything about Erica, same. He's literally trying to make it illegal for people to speak of Charlie or Erica Kirk. Why the hypervigilance? Like, what the F is that triggering for him? I'll tell you what I think it is, at risk of getting my channel turned off right away. And, you know, it is what it is. I think that he knows everything about it. I think that he was at least partially behind it. And that's why he freaked out on Kimmel when Kimmel made the joke about him being in the construction phase of grief when the reporter asked him how he was doing after losing his friend so tragically and violently and abruptly. And he said, "Me, I'm great. Oh, look at my construction over here." That was what triggered him to get Jimmy Kimmel fired. That's not trauma and grief. That's a cover-up, in my opinion. That's a huge cover-up. Freedom of speech is on the chopping block right now. YouTube, Wikipedia, it's all getting censored wildly, like no one's ever seen before, to use his ridiculous quote. So yeah, we all gotta stick together, speak out, don't capitulate. You know, they're saying at least 7 million people that showed up for the No Kings event. That is a show of force, not only to dear leader in the White House, but to Daddy Vladdy and to Bibi. That is a show of force that they cannot contend with. They simply can't. It's too many. And my guess is that it was way more than 7 million. 7 million people is the largest protest in the history of our country. But imagine all the people that didn't go out because they had to work, they were busy, they just couldn't get there, or they were afraid because of all the threats and BS coming from him. Patricia Moss just got here. Decided to just start from the beginning, had to pause. Need to tell you that you're already cracking me up. I just love it when you start readjusting your set. Well, and this is the first time I've ever, no, it's not the first time I've ever stood up for a video. I used to do a lot of videos standing up, come to think of it, when I was new at this. But then once I got my studio, once I had my studio, I was like, a chair to plant my rear end in. And it's nice when my chair had wheels and I could kind of move around a little bit, but then the wheels would squeak. So I got rid of the chair with the wheels, and then the chair that I have doesn't have wheels, and that's annoying. And then I got this like bar stool thing that is very comfortable, but same thing. It doesn't have wheels. If it did, I would have fallen on my butt already, right? So, Patricia, tell me when you get your package, and then I want to send you another one because you won a second time, dear. Did you know that? You won the little chicken coop. Where's my chicken coop? I've got one of them right here. And does it show? It's not going to show. I have to like hold it. So you won the last one. I sent you 3, and I sent you some of those cool stickers too. But after you get that one, then I will package up this additional one because you won it fair and square. I'm back for a second. Oh, darn, nothing fell. You're getting too good at it. Well, and I don't have on long pants, but I think I'm okay because I got athletic shorts under my dress. So I don't have to worry about like turning around and doing like that infamous, what was that called? With the Southern chicks, Annie Potts. Oh, what was that show called? That was so funny. And the Delta. What was that show? TV show from the 80s with Annie Potts and Delta. Designing Women, right? That is the name of it. Yes, it was called Designing Women. So who were the 3 actresses? I can't think of the one actress who had her like skirt like tucked up in her nylons when she was, I think, at a wedding or something, and she had a mishap in the bathroom and didn't realize it and was like literally showing her ass to people. Dixie Carter, that was the actress who did that in that episode. That was just classic. So yeah, I made sure I had on athletic shorts under my dress just in case I wouldn't have any wardrobe malfunctioning. But yeah, isn't this cool? I can just do my yoga, right? I do like to get everything realigned when I'm doing my yoga. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the camera or the laptop so that I don't have to move it at all, whether I'm doing a video of politics, true crime, or yoga. I'm hoping to get to a point where I never have to touch anything because I'm always messing with stuff. That's what's so annoying. But if you like it when I mess with stuff, then good. I haven't checked my mailbox, Anna B says. Yes, Patricia got hers today. Well, then certainly you've gotten yours, Anna, because you're much closer than Patricia. Just brought the package inside, going to open it now. I hope you used the U.S. Postal. I did. I used U.S. Postal for both of you guys. Oh, I'm so glad that it arrived. So now I can throw away the receipt. Anna B's, just let me know that I can throw away the receipt once you get yours. But yeah, I'm excited to send you one more because 3 is just not enough. Anna B's got a whole half a dozen because I just realized once I started giving them away and found out that it was going to cost like $12 or $13 to send one UPS. I was like, that's not happening. I'm not giving away 10 of them. That would be way too much money. That happened to me to dance in high school. Luckily, my friend got me off the dance floor. It was a long dress, so you couldn't see my butt. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. I mean, that is so old from that Designing Women, but it's one of those things. Good Jazzy supports the post office. Yay, absolutely. So yeah, I was looking at my notes and there were some other things that I wanted to mention, not just about Erica Kirk, who it's looking more and more like she was affiliated with Little E, and she's probably in the files. she's probably in the files. There is no record of her anywhere on Earth prior to 2004. And she was born in 88, so 16 years old. There's no record of her before she was 16 years old. It would not surprise me in the least if she was one of these Eastern European models that got caught up in the whole scheme with the Brunel and Little E and people like the Stable Genius and people like Eppinger. Oh, and then that other guy who is in the cabinet right now. Oh man, he's a real dirtbag, and he is actually in the cabinet. The Italian guy. Let's see. Italian modeling agent in the U.S. government cabinet right now. His last name starts with a P. It's like Pagliaccio or something. No, his first name starts with a P. Paolo Zampoli. An Italian-born former modeling agent, is currently the United States Special Representative for Global Partnerships. See, they're still doing it. They're still effing doing it. No doubt. He was appointed to the role in March 2025, just a month before Virginia allegedly offed herself. Zampoli is also known for introducing Melania to Dear Leader. Current role, U.S. Special Representative for Global Partnerships, appointed March 05. Born in Italy, he's a businessman who ran a modeling agency and represented Melania. But wait, Donnie represented Melania. She was the first model to sign up with his modeling agency in, I want to say, 1999. Okay, he's the man who discovered the First Lady in the 1990s. Let's see. What about 3 months ago? This is like MSNBC Facebook page. Forget Epstein. Look at Trump model management, the real pipeline. Yeah. Oh, and so Erica says that she was a modeling and casting agent, director. Okay. In New York City, but won't say the company that she worked for. You know, it's such a small world of all these billionaires. Jerry Hall, who was Mick Jagger's first wife, I believe. You know, the tall, blonde Texas model. She's like 6 feet tall, I think, long blonde hair. Jerry Hall was married to Rupert Murdoch just up until a couple of years ago. Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News and is it the Washington Post? You know, the one that Donnie is suing for publishing the birthday card. And I think it was Jean-Luc Brunel who discovered Jerry Hall. Let's see. Famous models discovered by Jean-Luc Brunel. I think Naomi Campbell is in there and Mila Jovovich. Let's see. And remember, he was found in his prison cell February 15th of 2022. It's so wild, the editing that's happening online right now. So Christy Turlington, Mila Jovovich, Sharon Stone, Monica Bellucci, Jerry Hall, Rebecca Roman, and Helena Christensen. Remember these people? And then where's Cindy Crawford these days? I haven't thought about her in a long time. Remember her? She was like top model. Good, Jazzy. Support her post office. I'm just going to stay here and go back to the beginning after the end. Cool. Yeah. Hang out and talk. So Cindy Crawford, 59 years old. She is a year older than me. She'll be 60 February 20th. And she's got 2 children. Oh, she was married to Richard Gere. I forgot about that. 91 to 95. But now currently she's married to Randy Gerber. And I think both of her kids she had with Randy. Supermodel, pinup model, fashion model, TV personality, nude model. Oh, I did not know about the Nudie Bear stuff. And she went to Northwestern University, which is one of my favorite colleges. Graduated high school a year before me. Where'd she go to high school? Illinois. Where is this DeKalb High School in Illinois? I'm going to guess it's around Evanston or Lake Forest, but let's see. Let's see. Because that's like the fancy part of Chicago. No, it's just like west of the city. Evanston is where Northwestern is, which is just north of the city. So she went to college close to home. No, I love that school. That's an amazing college. I'm glad you're staying, Patricia. Me too. So what else do you guys want to talk about? We're just over an hour. My brain just isn't like as sharp in the evenings, but I'm just happy that it's working at all, right? And I was gonna say, you know, the AI video that the Stable Genius made, dumping the poop from the airplane on New Yorkers. There was one in particular that he's been picking on, and I've spoken about him recently. He's a young YouTuber named, I think it's Harry Sison is how you say his name. And he's really cute, really young, and really smart. And he has gotten under the Dear Leader's skin because he's the one, I think, like the only identifiable individual that he pooped on in his insane video. His insanely regressive Freudian angry toddler monkey poop throwing bullcrap. Mackenzie Phillips, trigger warning, Jazzy, but I think you should know Mackenzie's talked about how Jagger took advantage of her in her dad's kitchen when she was 14. Sorry, Jazz. Yeah, I know. I've got the Rolling Stones back here in the corner. They maybe should go away because you know that they were all into that crap. I mean, they sang a lot of songs about the young chicks. It's gross. It's absolutely disgusting. But yeah, thanks for, I know Mackenzie Phillips had a horrible past. Who was her dad? Brian Phillips, like one of the Beach Boys or something like that. She's not alive anymore, is she? Mackenzie Phillips. Is she still alive? Yes, she is. So she's 65 years old. She's turned into a very beautiful woman. Lives in Alexandria, or no, she was born in Alexandria. And she's been married 3 times. Her current husband, she's been married to for 20 years. So the first one was like 2 years. The second one was 14 years. Third tries a charm, right? So she's got one kid. So China Phillips is her sister, who is like with one of the Baldwin brothers. And then Bijou Phillips, Tamerlane Phillips, Jeffrey Phillips, John Phillips is her dad's. The Mamas and the Papas. That's right. John Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas. And then her mom, Susan Adams. Is she like an actress or something? Yeah, TV personality. All right. Yes, he's got to go. Who, my Mick Jagger? He's got to go. Oh gosh, I didn't know that about Mackenzie Phillips. Yeah, I knew she had a really rough childhood. I remember when that TV show started, with Valerie Bertinelli. What was the name of that show? Something about like Get a Life. That's not it. It should be in here. Let's see. Yeah, she had a lot of trouble with drugs and alcohol. Mackenzie Phillips. I can hear the sitcom song in my head. Something about like Get a Life. No. My brain totally not working. Mackenzie Phillips TV show. Come on, brain. You can do it. You can do it. What is she famous for? Oh, she was in American Graffiti. One Day at a Time. There we go. One Day at a Time. Remember that? That was such a funny show. The single mom and the handyman. Patricia, you're right. I should kick them off my set. But does that mean Marlon Brando too? I mean, I know for a fact that the Rolling Stones are dirtbags. So yeah, they're going to get the boot. They've been creeping me out the last few days as I've just been more focused on all this stuff, even before I got Virginia's book. And yeah, we know that Jaeger Maestro was friends with Little E. So yeah, it'll be gone. Don't worry. It will be off of my set. But can Marlon stay? I mean, like I said, he's got a really bad reputation, but I read one of his autobiographies that I do think he got a bad rap. I mean, he was nuts. He did have like wild raccoons as pets, and he definitely had like a harem of women, but I don't think any of them were underage as far as I know. But then again, it's not like we would really know. With every day being another wonderful secret, because enigmas never age, right? He's got to go. Well, I can just give him the boot right now. I mean, he was married to Jerry Hall, who was brought over here by Jean-Luc Brunel, right? Or which one was she brought over by? Or no, she was from Texas, but she was curated by him. Let's see. And there was a band in the late 90s, Wilson and Phillips. It might have been the early 2000s. Y2K. Remember when Valerie Bertinelli married Eddie Van Halen? That was wild. But they stayed married for a long time. Look at me, Jazzy. I'm looking. I know I don't really like look right at the screen too much because I get self-conscious because it's like a mirror. Um, so I'm kind of like looking off to the side. One day at a time. There you go. I didn't know he was a pedo. Um, the Mick Jagger, I always knew. I mean, I've been a huge fan of his since I was a teenager, and he was always really open about it. And as a teenager, I didn't think there was anything wrong with that because, rock stars and teenagers, right? I mean, it's gross. It's really gross. Um, but I've always known. It's no secret to me. And yeah, I've read a lot about the history of the Rolling Stones, and they were complete dirtbags, each and every one of them. But so talented. But apparently, the Beatles are just as bad. Apparently, the Beatles are just as bad. Like John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo, and George. I mean, they seem so wholesome compared to the Rolling Stones. But no. We probably can't like any music because they all partook in Rex activities. Well, and like Red Hot Chili Peppers, like they're very explicit with their like pornographic music, basically. But like again, with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they would get naked on the stage. That was what they were known for. And Flea talks about how when he's butt naked playing the guitar, he knows the right notes to hit because of his snuffleupagus tells him. You know the rest. But the thing that I can respect about some of these people is that they're upfront and honest about it. And I don't know that there was any underage activity with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But you can imagine that probably with all of these freaks, like the rock stars, movie stars, obviously the millionaires and the billionaires, and then the star athletes, Oh, yeah, I don't know that he was a pedo. Let's see. So, yeah, we can't pay any more attention to any of our cultural icons. Marlon was a pedo? No, please say it ain't true. I don't know if he was. I just know he was a ladies' man, but it was consensual. I think he liked women that were women, I don't think he was like a rude, disgusting bastard. Although I think he has the reputation of being a rude, disgusting bastard. I think that, he just had a lot of haters because when you're famous, you're going to have a lot of haters no matter what. And he had his own island and he just didn't like to deal with Hollywood, which Hollywood hated that. He was a really bad advertisement for Hollywood, for the whole industry. He wanted nothing to do with it. And he was very explicit about that. I remember he was given an Oscar and he sent a Native American female to accept the Oscar for him. But then he might have given the Oscar back. I can't remember. There was just a lot of scuttlebutt about it. So he had his own island, but it wasn't like a pedo island. It was like an of-age island. And he lived there with his harem of chicks and his staff and everything. I want to say it was in the Fijis, like around the Fiji Islands. Yeah, I recently found out about Jagger through Mackenzie. Oh, yeah, I did not know that specifically about Mackenzie and him. That's really sick and really sad. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know. They were iconic. Talk about iconic musicians. I first became aware of them like before they got famous in Southern California. And they were just known as the band that got naked on the stage. They would wear tube socks around their junk so that they wouldn't get arrested. And then they were in a Simpsons episode and they're all wearing like whitey tighties and tube socks on their legs. just because they couldn't do like the tube socks on their junk for The Simpsons. Patricia Moss says, life sucks. I feel like everything is a lie. I liked being naive. Well, I don't think life sucks. I think it's good to be aware of these things. There are a ton of lies, and people say ignorance is bliss, but I think it's good to know, and then you can make an informed decision. Sean Connery was horrible. Yeah, a lot of them were horrible. I think Marlon can stay. Should we take a vote? Yes. Yes, we're a democracy here, right? I remember when they did that. So yeah, when I was, the last time I read a lot of books was when my 13-year-old was a baby, because I was just trying to like stay home and stay calm. And, I wasn't into like Facebook or YouTube or even TV. So I just tried to read a lot. And I would watch movies like Brando movies, and In Cold Blood was what got me started with Truman Capote, the more modern version of In Cold Blood with Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think is his name. And I never really knew that much about Capote, but I went on a deep dive, and that man was brilliant. Also a twisted MF, completely alcoholic, completely gay, like, what was this? Probably like in the I think 1959, I think, was when In Cold Blood happened, when the actual event of the 4 people at that farm in Kansas got red rummed. I want to say that was 1959. And then he spent 5 years living in that small town in Kansas, doing all the research. And his friend, the one who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, Lee Harper, they both worked for the New Yorker magazine, and they were on assignment just to write about the tragic incident. He ended up staying there for 5 years and had his assistant, Lee Harper, with him the whole time. And he fell madly in love with the guy named Perry, who was kind of the mastermind of the quadruple homicide. And then he was there for Perry's execution, and he was destroyed. He was gone. He was completely obliterated. I don't think he lasted much longer after that. And he was definitely twisted, but he was also brilliant. And that guy Perry had a really sad story too. I mean, it was hideous what happened, but if you don't know the story of In Cold Blood and Truman Capote's book about it, and then Seymour Hoffman Phillips, if I'm saying his name right, I highly recommend it. I mean, the man was brilliant. And one of the things that's less atrocious about Perry, the guy who was the mastermind of the quadruple unaliving, was that he had a moral code. He had a moral compass. And I believe that he unalived the teenage girl first because he was afraid that his comrade was going to assault her and violate her, and he just wasn't having it. So he shot her head off, and then had to do that to the mother because the mother was in the next room, so she knew what was going on. And then the dad and the brother had been tied up downstairs in the basement on mattresses, to make them comfortable, because they were trying to rob the place, and they were drunk and they were stupid and they were right out of prison. And then I think it was like an afterthought that they went down and took the dad and the brother out because everything had gone sideways. But it was all because essentially Perry was trying to protect the 17-year-old daughter from getting violated by his cohort. So for that, I respect him. But what a horrible nightmare. Horrible nightmare. Oh, and then it was Robert Blake who played Perry in the original movie of In Cold Blood, and Truman Capote worked very closely with the producers and the directors and the actors. So that movie was heavily influenced by Truman Capote. And then ironic or poetic, the way that was how Robert Blake got famous. He was 17 years old, I think, when he got that role. And then what ended up happening at the end of his life with him, what was it? He accidentally pew-pewed his wife or girlfriend after they left a restaurant or something like that in Hollywood. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was definitely domestic violence and definitely not an accident. But it was like the start of his life started with that violent story, and then the end of his life was hideous too. Let's see. What if they were adults? Concerning Brando, it's their business. Exactly. If they were adults. Absolutely. And especially if he was upfront with people that he was not monogamous, which he was upfront with people about that. Marlon can stay. Gonna open your package now. Woohoo. Oh, Jazzy touched this. Oh, Jazzy's handwriting. This is so cool. Okay, gonna open it now. Oh, very cute. So cool, right, Patricia? Wait, it only costs 30 cents to get it over here? That can't be right. What was 30 cents? No, it was like they were using stamps instead of, like, they asked me if it was okay if they could use a bunch of their old stamps, and I said sure. So probably all of the stamps that they used, they only needed to use 30 cents more to make it even. Because I want to say it was like $8.40 or something like that. So then doing the math with the forever price, which I'm not even sure what it is these days, probably somewhere around 59 cents. See what a stamp costs. Oh, wait, I see stamps on the side that you put it on. What was the total amount? Yeah, I think it was about, how much is a stamp these days? How much is a stamp these days? 61 cents. That's a postcard stamp. Oh my goodness, forever stamps are 78 cents now? Holy crap, I did not know that. That's a huge hike from the last time. The last time I knew of stamp costs, they were still in the 50s. That is crazy. Holy crap, man. I remember when postcards were like 13 cents. Now they're 61 cents. 78 cents for a regular letter. Wow. That is wild. So just April 9th of 2025 was the last increase from 73 cents to 78 cents. But see, they have to charge that much because none of us are buying stamps anymore. I mean, I bought stamps a long time ago and I haven't run out of them yet. LOL, I'm opening it carefully so I can save the envelope. I'm weird that way. I'm like that too. He had her pew-pewed outside the restaurant. He was inside the restaurant when it happened, but they didn't prove it was a red rum for hire. Oh, I always thought he was the one holding the pew-pew. Wild. But yeah, the thing about the In Cold Blood that is fascinating, being true crime aficionados like we are, is that the family, I mean, they'd still be around, a lot of the family. If it was 1959 when it happened, I mean, I was born in 67 and I'm 58 years old. So 58 plus 8, it was 66 years ago. That sounds about right. 66 years ago. So yeah, there any babies that were in the family, like cousins or aunts and uncles. The couple had the 2 kids. But, you know, the mom and the dad probably had brothers and sisters. And so the young woman, the teenage girl and the teenage boy probably had cousins. Yeah, it's hideous. And the story is very well written, the Truman Capote story. And then the movie that Seymour Hoffman Phillips did, how do you say his name? He did an amazing job. Like, I wasn't really interested in watching it, but I finally watched it because I was trying to stay home and lay low. Capote movie. I just want to know the guy's name. Philip Seymour Hoffman. That was sad when he passed away. And what year was it? 2005? Okay. Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role and 47 other awards. OMG. It was nominated for 51 awards and it won 48 awards. That's how good it was. Have you guys seen it? That is wild that it got that much. It deserved it. I mean, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And that's what took me down that rabbit hole of, I read everything I could get my hands on by Capote. It was the first time I read his book or read anything by him was after seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman's movie. And it says, how accurate is the movie? The accuracy of Capote is mixed. Captures the spirit of his work and the symbolic contrast between Kansas and New York. Takes creative liberties and dramatized events. Perry Smith was the name of the unaliver. Yeah. Prison visits. The film portrays extended prison stays, but Capote primarily communicated with Perry Smith and Richard Hickok through letters, visiting in person fewer than a dozen times. So yeah, one of the things that I remember the most about that case is that the person who discovered the family was one of the teenage girl's friends who was going over to the house the next morning at like 10 in the morning because the daughter was going to teach her how to make pie crusts. So she shows up to learn how to make pie crusts and discovers, I don't know how it went down. Like, she probably let herself in the door, couldn't find anybody. So I don't know if she found people upstairs first or downstairs first, or if there was like red stuff everywhere. But the mom and the daughter were on the second floor of the house, and the dad and the son were in the basement. But that was one of the things that really stymied the law enforcement, was why they were kind of tied up on these mattresses or cardboard or something, and like with blankets, like as if the people that tied them up were trying to make them comfortable, like cared about them, because they did, and they were going to leave them like that. They weren't going to take anyone's life, but then they did. I have a drawer full of forever stamps. I love stamps. I used to collect them. My friend who works at our local post office warned me about 2 years ago that they were about to go way up in price. So I bought a whole bunch of them. Yeah, that was good. See, and I bought a whole bunch of them about that long ago too. I don't think I've bought any for a couple of years. That's why I was so out of touch with the price. That is wild. LOL. I haven't opened the package yet. I'm too busy chatting with you guys. Kate, open it for reals this time. All right. And I'm going to drink a little bit of my veggie juice And maybe after you open it, we should wrap up so that the video doesn't go on and on. But I'm having fun with you guys. I know there was more I was trying to say that I didn't get all of my ideas out. I think that the stable genius is going to out himself a lot in the next couple of days. So I guess Melania filed a lawsuit today against Michael Wolff, and I'm so glad she did. I didn't think Michael Wolff, of all people, would be like the one that brings down the whole house of cards, but he could well be. And it would make sense because he's the journalist that interviewed Einstein, we'll call him, little E, for hundreds of hours, he said. Was it for like 4 years? I mean, he interviewed little E and little T a lot. He knows everything. He's the one who saw the photographs of the Donald with what looked like underage girls, topless, maybe sitting on his lap, but definitely a photo of him with a wet spot on his pants right near his package, and these underage looking girls pointing at it and laughing. And little E had those photos in his safe and took them out to show them to Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff says he laid them out on the table like playing cards. And Michael asked him where he keeps them. He said he kept them in the safe, that they were an insurance policy, basically. So, the dear leader has spilled a lot of information to Michael Wolff, too. And Michael Wolff is like kind of the co-host of this Daily Beast series that they're doing right now twice a week, like Tuesdays and Thursday nights, called Inside Trump's Head or Inside Trump's Brain. And it's Joanna Ward and Michael Wolff just having conversations about all this stuff. And it is really good. I highly recommend it. And Michael Wolff, like, he's not easy on the eyes, and he stutters a lot. He's not a smooth talker. I'm glad that I got over that, because at first I was like, I don't want to listen to this guy. He stutters too much. But, it's like you just got to accept people, warts and all, if you want to get the good stuff from paying attention to them, because he's phenomenal. He's brilliant. He seems like a really nice guy, too. He has a 10-year-old daughter, and I think he really cares about the big picture of abuse and people. Anyway, he's the one who has said the story of Melania consummating the relationship with the Trumpster fire, Tenacious D, on Lolita Express. And let me add here that Virginia says that some of the worst abuse happened in the air on the plane, which makes sense because that's like nobody's jurisdiction. I'm going to guess they did snuff films on the airplane, honestly. So for that story to be out there in the American psyche, that the first time the president slept with the first lady was on Lolita Express, where the worst abuse happened, might mean that she was one of these people like Virginia that was getting transported. It just might. But the fact that she filed this like $1 billion lawsuit against Michael Wolff today, to me, kind of cements it, because that's crazy. And all she's doing is exposing more. And for that, I can thank her. Right. Let's see. Where was I? I have about a dozen scissors in my house, and now I can't find even one. Okay, I found some for reels, reels, reels this time. That's hilarious. I know that's like me and pens. I have like 50 pens. Most of them are in here, but then I'm like in my bedroom or in the living room or the dining room, and I want a pen and I can't find one anywhere. Or in my purse. I try to make sure there's always one in there. I have about, okay, read that one. What is she suing him for? So she's suing him for defamation, I think. These are even cuter in person. Oh, they're so cute. I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. Thanks, Jazzy. Oh, I'm so happy that you love them. And I'm really happy to send you the last one, too, since you won it fair and square. If you have a use for a fourth one, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to make like little fairy gardens or something? Oh, I can't wait to go get mine. Anna Bees, you guys can make fairy gardens for like your kids or grandkids or whatever. I was going to use them, I told you, for Christmas tree ornaments. But then I thought that's just silly. I mean, like one or two might be a cute Christmas tree ornament. But you know me, I'm always thinking jewelry. Oh my God. Okay, let me just tell you a little jewelry story and then I'll finish up with my notes in here. I spent all freaking day making these 2 necklaces and 2 bracelets. And this is why I hate making jewelry. I love having the jewelry at the end of it all. Let's see. Can you see it? You can't really see the colors too well. There's some really pretty blue beads. They're real light. And then this longer one that just goes over. Can you see? Like that's the blue bead in the middle there. And then there, it's not showing too well. Anyway, then the bracelets. So the bracelets were what was really making me crazy. And this is why I don't like making jewelry. It's like I like having it when I'm done with it, but making it is so annoying. And I just wanted to show off. There, it's just glass beads. Like some of them are like faceted glass, but they're fun. Fun now that they're done. They were torture when I was making them. The worst. And then these earrings, these are the last earrings I made not that long ago. I've been wearing them a lot. Again, this light blue glass in the top is very cool. And then some kind of stone. I don't know what that green stone is. Have you watched Going Into Trump's Head? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. The Michael Wolff and Joanna Ward. I think it's called Inside Trump's Head, and it's good. It's really good. Michael Wolff knows his stuff, and as much as he stutters, he's also very well spoken. When you know he puts his ideas together very well, it just takes him a while when he's kind of stuttering. Not to pick on him. He's great. He's absolutely great. And the series, I think they do it live, maybe like every Tuesday and Thursday night, but it seems like they do it more and more because it's probably gotten such a positive response. So yeah, the guilt that the stable genius carries over whatever he did in the 90s and since, whatever he's put people through, I think it's eating him alive, especially as he's at the end of his life. I mean, he looks like he's getting consumed with worry, guilt, and gangrene, honestly. The last time I saw him speaking a couple of days ago, The color of his skin looked so bad, even with all the like pancake makeup that he has on. His skin looked like a deceased person's. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Have you seen him recently? Looked horrible. So yeah, like I said, I highly recommend that show. But his hypervigilance and hypersensitivity about all of the Erica and Charlie Kirk stuff, to me, that's very revealing. I started to say how it's looking more clear to me that she may have been one of these Eastern European model types that maybe came into the States when she was about 16 and probably is in those flight logs, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that her husband didn't know that and that she didn't want him to know. And that was at play with what happened, the tragedy. And then I feel like she's getting pushed by the government administration. She's getting pushed like a queen. What, like Donnie's going to marry her next or something is what it seems like to me. I mean, she's 36. He's only 79. Melania's probably at the end of her rope with him, although she keeps coming to his rescue more and more lately, huh? But I really suspect that Erica was Charlie's handler and that Melania and Ivana were Trump's handlers, and that I'll just leave it at that. I really honestly suspect that. I think that what it's called, he does it with that British lady. I think they're doing it with each other. They flirt like crazy. I yelled, dude, get a room. That's funny. Because he's totally married with kids. And I don't know about Joanna Ward. She is cute, though. I'll give her that. Am I imagining that? I swear after they finish their show, they run straight to the hotel. I hope not. I hope not. I mean, when people work together, they can certainly get in over their heads like that. I think you're right about that, Jazz. Oh, about they're spies. I think Erica, Melania, and Ivana, I think they're all spies, basically, working for Eastern European countries, right? Melania was from Slovakia or Slovenia. I think those are two different countries. And then Ivana was from Czechoslovakia. So they're like STB as opposed to the KGB, but they're like, I think their countries were like Russian assets, basically. And then Erica does look so much like that young Ukrainian model that was red rummed on the public transportation in North Carolina. I think that was in August. I want to say August 22nd. Erica looks so much like, what was her name? Irene Zaruski, I think. That's weird. If you guys haven't looked up the Irene Zaruski stuff, please do. I mean, it's hideous, it's crazy, it's scary, it's sad, but it's weird that you can look up and watch a red rum on the internet. Like, that's not supposed to be like that. You know, they made sure Charlie Kirk's was all over the internet for a good 48 hours before they took it down. They wanted to make sure that everybody saw it. And then they're like, oh, that shouldn't be there. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. They are powering up Erica for when they're powering up Erica our government is kind of powering her up. And then they tried to use her in the very beginning of this whole thing with Charlie. I think they were trying to use her as like the spark to ignite the violence. Like they thought Charlie Kirk was going to be like their Rosa Parks thing of the, what shall we say, the white supremacists, that this whole Charlie Kirk thing. And then they put Erica out there with that whole weird thing she did in his studio 48 hours after he was assassinated. I mean, all this assassination stuff just gets me because I think it's all staged. I honestly do. I think that it's whack. It's street theater. That's what I think. Whoops, my bad. No, they're not. I thought they were both single. I thought Michael was divorced. They just have good cemetery. I like cemetery better than chemistry. They have good cemetery. Yeah, they do. They have great chemistry. They're absolutely fabulous together. Their conversations, I think, are usually like 45 minutes, but they feel like it's like 2 hours of information compressed into 45 minutes. And I always want to bring up and remember this federal attorney in Eastern Virginia, the 43-year-old who passed away in her sleep, allegedly, and then they said it was self-injury, Jessica Aber. The fact that attorney, Lindsay Halligan, is in the same job that she vacated when the new administration came in, the inauguration this past January. I'm just wrapping up, honey, and I'll check it all out. I love it. So I'm all distracted now. I'm glad she feels comfortable just walking in. Seriously, it just like derails my thought process. So Lindsay Halligan and Erica Kirk being in that freaking Colorado pageant together in 2009, where Lindsay was the third runner-up, Erica was the fourth runner-up. There's no way in hell that there's a coincidence of that happening and then the two of them being kind of at the center of Tenacious D's street theater melodrama. It's ridiculous. It's like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. But there's so many of these things that people don't make all the connections. And let me just go off on like one last crazy tangent. It's not a tangent. It's central. It's kind of coming full circle right back to Virginia's book. When she passed away, allegedly at the end of April, and I always want to bring it up that it was that same night that the whole administration was at Bedminster watching Elon balance silverware on his finger. Okay. What was I trying to say? No, that was the same night that that Jessica Aber was passing away. And Jessica Aber specialized in like cryptocurrency and corruption and gang stuff and trafficking. Those were the things that Jessica Aber specialized in. She was really good at her job. And she was 43 years old. And I don't think she did that. I think she was Epstein. But no, I was getting it confused with the night that Virginia passed away, allegedly, was the night before the Pope's funeral, Pope Francis's funeral. And the whole thing with the bus accident, with her getting hit by a bus. her life was in danger ever since she escaped Einstein back in 2002, basically. She met her husband when she was 19, when she went to Thailand. They got married like 10 days or 2 weeks later. And then they were together still. They were estranged when she lost her life. But if it's true that he was abusive towards her, then why wouldn't he be a suspect for her losing her life? Because she was separating with him and divorcing him, and they had just received the 12 million pounds, which is about $16 million. They had just received that from the royals, I want to say in 2023. And then shortly after that, they're separated, so they're having to split that. And as if she's going to go move by herself to this remote ranch without surveillance, without home security. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I want to know what kind of home security she had. But I just wonder about that whole bus accident bullshit. I don't buy any of that. And I think that the royals wanted her out. I mean, look what's happened even with her being deceased. Look what's happened in the last few weeks. Look what happened to Paul Manafort a couple of months ago or a month ago. And then Jiz wanted her gone. She was like the reason Jiz was behind bars. And then Donnie would want her gone. And then the guy she married, there's I think a very, very high likelihood that he was planted, basically, that he was assigned to sweep her off her feet and marry her and be her handler because she was 19 years old. She'd aged out. She was feisty, and they're not going to let somebody like that knows all of their deep, dark secrets just like go off and have their life. They're either going to eliminate them or have them managed by a handler. So I know probably some of you have suggested that he might have been her handler, and it kind of went over my head. I was like, I don't know about that. But I think absolutely he was her handler. And like Erica. Okay, now I'm falling down the rabbit hole. Help me out, you guys. He may have been hired to take care of her in the end. He might have gotten a bonus on top of all the millions of dollars from the royals that they were splitting. That then he wouldn't have to split because she's not around. So he would have that motive as well. But yeah, if he was an abuser, which I'm not convinced that he was an abuser. Like, I'm not convinced of anything these days. I'm really not. But yeah, he could have been much like he could have been to Virginia much what Erica was to Charlie Kirk. OMG. Someone was doing a podcast about Erica. He paused to talk about something. On pause, her eyes were wicked scary. I only saw it on pause. So weird. I want to find that and send it to you. Patricia, I have probably seen it, but please feel free to send it to me because it might not be one that I've seen. But yeah, she gets like snake eyes or like lizard eyes, reptilian eyes. Like I've shown some of it on some of my videos. And let me just pull up in my photos real quick what I can. I'm sure I've got a good or bad photo of her freaky eyes because there's so many of them. Dang it. Here we go. Oh, this is one of the cutest pictures of Virginia. Can you see this? It might be hard to see because of the lighting. It's a new photo to me. I've never seen that picture of Virginia. I love it. And her eyes are looking pretty freaky here. So this was in the spring. She was at this sorry, I'll show it to you. She was at this event to talk to young women about being a happy homemaker. And she's wearing this freaky dress, the pink dress. She's got a freaking labubu right here. The freaking labubu kind of blends in with her dress. Her dress and her hair kind of blend in with the background. So there's times where she's like hypnotizing, and then her eyes, this isn't even the weirdest one of her eyes. I think I was showing you guys this the other day. She definitely got the freaky eyes. Let's see. I might need to. So this channel, Salwa Samra, SALWASAMRA. They've done some good work on Erica too. Let's see. So freaky. Where's these pictures? I take a lot of screenshots. Okay. So this is like, her eyes aren't like freaking out there, but they kind of are. They kind of are. Like, she's just got freaky eyes. Can you see it? They kind of look like cat eyes or lizard eyes, even just normal. But one of the things I was interested in is her hat. You see her hat? And then putting it next to a picture of Gabby Petito, who's got really freaky eyes in this photo, and that hat. It's one of my least favorite pictures of Gabby, actually. But it's also, it was just last week that I was realizing how similar they look when Erica's not all doused with so much makeup. I mean, she's always just like full glam, even when she's not. She still is. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So I'm getting there with the crazy snake eyes. See, this picture, she looks a lot like Gabby, but her eyes are freaking weird. Doesn't she look a lot like Gabby Petito in that picture? She's got some freaky ass eyes. And I'll get to your comments in just a second. Let me see if... Okay, this has got to be one of the weirdest of the eyes. Are you ready? Trigger warning. Trigger warning. This is the same scene where she's in that foofy dress with the labubu. Like, what in the F is she doing with those eyes? What in the F? Let's see. Like, this is when it starts. Well, she's like looking sideways, like they're starting to get weird. Like, and then they become like fully possessed. This is when they're halfway possessed. Just halfway. I call it the Cash Patel eyes. I used to call it the Charles Manson eyes. She's got the Cash Patel eyes, way worse than Cash Patel. The eyes are the windows to the soul, baby. I mean, if it's true, what I think might be about her, then that kind of explains it, huh? Like, what is up with the Cash Patel eyes? Although Cash really does the 4 whites. She can't quite get there. She's got the 3 whites. But what the hell is she doing with a Labubu? I need a Labubu. My daughter's got one or two. Next time you see me, I'll have my Labubu here. Have you guys seen the most recent South Park? It is so good. So good. Let's see. Gonna go do the dishes. Let's see. Okay. Bye, y'all. Much enjoy talking with you. Good tangent. And I'm just wrapping up, babe. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. It got so late. Let's see. Where are we? Where did it go? I don't believe any of it either. Bye. Gonna do the dishes and start from the beginning. Too bad nothing fell on your set. Oh, you're so cute. I could start knocking stuff over. She was so pretty. Which one? Gabby? Gabby was gorgeous. And she hardly wore any makeup, too. No, I'm sure you saw it. Yeah, I haven't left you two yet. Very pretty. Virginia was pretty. I mean, Virginia was really pretty. There's not a lot of great pictures of her. She was absolutely gorgeous. And then, reading her autobiography, Nobody's Girl, it's like she goes back into her past and just tells you like what a tomboy she was. Like she was not a girly girl at all. But yeah, that girl had a lot of spunk, and I'm just devastated for her kids that they have to live their lives without her and her brothers. So she had an older half brother, and then her younger brother was like, I want to say 6 or 7 years younger than her. And she was like a mini mom. She took care of him from the time he was born. Her parents were both like alcoholics, and yeah. Erica has something strange about her. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous in a lot of images of her, but there's everything strange about her, in my opinion. Yeah, I remember when you showed that. The thing is, I rarely look at the screen when I listen to YouTube, always have too much going on. I'm with you, Patricia. I can be the same way. I like to watch, but I don't always get to. Just listen. I know you got to live your life. Absolutely. I don't think she looks like Gabby. Mostly she doesn't look like Gabby, but pictures of her where she has a lot less makeup on, I think that she does look a bit like Gabby. But yeah, Gabby's like a wholesome beauty. Erica's not. I mean, she's like gorgeous, but she's more like a Playboy model type. Except when I'm on your live, yes, she kind of looks like the bad twin of Gabby, like Sabrina and Bewitched. That is funny. That is funny. I think Cash Party with Don Jr., if you catch my drift. I do catch your drift, Patricia. I think you're probably correct about that. Absolutely. Aren't you going to read Virginia's book to us? No, I sent an email. Let me see if I got a response yet. I sent an email to, I know you're joking though, to the, let's see. See if I got a response. Did I get a response? I don't know if I sent it correctly. I might have to resend it. Huh. Yeah, I think I'll look at that and see if I need to resend it. Anyway, like I said, I know you were joking. Oh, please read to us. I can read a page or two. I didn't read the jacket, did I? I'll read you the jacket. Did I read it at the beginning? I don't think I did. The unforgettable memoir of the late Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the woman who dared to take on Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The world knows Virginia Roberts Giuffre as Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's most outspoken victim, the woman whose decision to speak out helped send both serial abusers to prison, whose photograph with Prince Andrew catalyzed his fall from grace. But her story has never been told in full in her own words until now. In April 2025, Giuffre took her own life. She left behind a memoir written in the years preceding her death. 4 years is how long they worked on this, and it shows. And stated unequivocally that she wanted it published. Nobody's Girl is the riveting and powerful story of an ordinary girl who would grow up to confront extraordinary adversity. Here, Giuffre offers an unsparing and definitive account of her time with Epstein and Maxwell, who trafficked her and others to numerous prominent men. She also details the molestations she suffered as a child, as well as her daring escape from Epstein and Maxwell's grasp at 19. Giuffre remade her life from scratch and summoned the courage not only to hold her abusers to account, but also to advocate for other victims. The pages of Nobody's Girl preserve her voice and her legacy forever. I'll read you the back too after finishing this. Nobody's Girl is an astonishing affirmation of Giuffre's unshakable will, first to claw her way out of victimhood and then to shine light on wrongdoing and fight for a safer, fairer world. Equal parts intimate and fierce, it is a remarkable narrative of fortitude in the face of depravity and despair. 1983 to 2025. She was an activist and an advocate for sex trafficking survivors. She lived in Australia with her family. Years ago, a teacher asked one of our children, oh, this is cute. This is really cute. Okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll read your comments in a second. But here on the back, it said, this is adorable. Years ago, a teacher asked one of her children what their mother did for a living. My husband and I decided they should simply answer, my mom fights bad guys. Since then, more than one teacher has wrongly assumed that I am a cop. I'm not a cop, and I've never claimed to be an angel either. But I hope I have done some good. I spent more than 2 years traveling the world with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I knew their cruel habits and those of the men to whom they trafficked me. Seeking to silence me, my powerful enemies have threatened to bankrupt me and even to have me illed with a K. I haven't stopped talking. When I was a ex-slave, I had no say. I will never have no say again. That's just an excerpt from the book. Patricia says, not joking. So I emailed the publisher to ask if I can read excerpts of it. So we'll see what they say. Otherwise, I'm sure it's fine just to read little bits here and there. But yeah, I would love to read paragraphs chapters, because it's that good. It's really good. But also you can buy it on tape if I can't read it to you. That surprise witness reads books to us just saying, oh, well, she might be getting permission from them, from the publishers, or she's a lawyer, so she knows all the ins and outs. So I can do some more research on that. I didn't mean today. I just meant maybe one chapter a day. That reading was too rushed, LOL. Joanne Murdoch, my heart aches for Virginia. Lovely to see you. I recognize your name. It's been a minute. So I didn't do my disclaimer and all that jazz. Everything I've said has simply been my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation and open up a discussion and learn something and be educational. All my videos are made for the tube of you, and it's an infotainment platform. Please hit your like button. And don't forget to make sure that you're subscribed. There we go. Make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, please consider doing so. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like my channel and turn on your notification bell to ring a ding ding. And Joanne says hello from Australia. Patricia says that time I was just playing with you. Your reading was fine. Oh, good. I was like, oh no, what did I do? It's so hard with the braces. So I'm going to go ahead and do a peace out because it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. Oh, Joanne, I'm so sorry. Thank you, dear, for coming in and letting me know that you're in Australia and that you just found it. I'm going to be trying to do my lives every day. I'm going to try my best. I've been super challenged with the braces, but hopefully I got a handle on that. And there's just so much to talk about with this book, and I'm really excited to read this book. So I'm sorry to have to leave, my dears. Love and light. See you soon. Have a really good night, and make sure you stay well hydrated, eat your protein, and chill out. That's okay. I have pressed the subscribe button again. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm very appreciative of all of you on the replay crew and here in the chat. Thanks again.